name is Joji. I deal with relationship and life advice in general. Please consider subscribing to my channel, give me a thumbs up so that we can reach as many people in the world as possible. Now, back to our topic. We are talking about ways to deal with this stress. Our point number one is using meditation. Meditation allows your mind to get out of the middle of the stress and allows you to focus your thoughts. While you are meditating, the constant bombarding you often get from stress will be removed because it won't have center stage in your mind. This practice can be done just about anywhere at any time. And it does not take long to start seeing the benefit of using meditation to minimize your stress. Your body and mind will have a chance to relax when you use meditation. Meditation also helps you let go of stress-induced negativity and instead keep your mind on things that are more positive, number one, peaceful, number two, and the things that are helpful or beneficial to you. Meditation can give you a coping skill that helps you eliminate the effects of the fight or fright response that happens when you are under stress. You can lower your blood pressure and feel the weight of stressors lift off your shoulders. Our point number two is that identify what are your stressors. Many people are not ready to handle stress because they do not know exactly what is causing the stress reaction in their life. By understanding the causes of your stress, you can control and eliminate it. You know, fear and anxiety are stressors. You may feel this kind of stress when you start praying the what if gone, what if game, what if your job is lost, what if you can't pay the bills, what if your relationship breaks, what if you're to get sick, what if, exactly. This is anticipation thinking that takes you out of the present and makes your mind live in a mental state of what could happen in the near future. It is worrying about something that has not happened and may never happen. You know, problems with family members can also be a huge stressor. You might have people in your life that you just don't get along with. You could also have family members who are included in situations that are bad and you feel the stress of that. So, living your normal lifestyle, you know, can be stressful. This includes things like taking a new job or leaving one, moving to a new house or another state, ending a relationship or starting a new relationship, going to college or graduating, or having a child or having a kid move out. You know, stress in this case, it's actually that changes the way you usually live your life. Health problems can be a stressor. Whenever you are not feeling well or dealing with a chronic health problem, it can cause you stress. You may be drawn in two directions and feel like your life is out of balance. This can make you feel stressed out because you can't do your best at work or at home because your time is running out too much. So give yourself space, okay? And don't let stress overwhelm you. Our point number three is that the third way to deal with the stress is tracking your stressors. You can't fight what you don't see coming. Though, when you write down what you're going to be driving that day, it helps you deal with the stress. It does this because it will identify all the situations that day and what the possible stressors will be. Identify what is it about the situation or the person that is going to be in your day that is causing you stress. Perhaps you can also devise a strategy to minimize interaction. Know in advance that when you feel anger, you will practice deep breathing meditation exercise, because this can help you keep the situation in control and yourself calm. Our next point is that discover the power of no. Discover the power of no. A common cause of stress is being too busy saying yes to others that you end up saying no to yourself. Know your limitations and don't exceed them. Every day you will be bombarded with people and situations that want you to say yes and give your time and energy. If you are always the type of person who says yes to everything, then you are on the road to stress. You cannot take time for yourself or what you really want to do if you don't practice using the power of no. Most people refrain from saying no for fear of sounding selfish. But saying no to someone is not selfish. It is practicing the art of self-care. When you have trouble telling other people no, or even telling yourself no to things, you increase your workload and may exaggerate what you are capable of. Many people only accept something because they feel guilty about it. Just keep in mind that by saying no, you are taking care of your body, and that is a good thing. When you say no, again, and I say this, when you say no, let that be your one-word explanation. When someone asks you why not, in response to your no, acknowledge that it is a boundary problem. You don't owe anyone a reason. By saying no, you free yourself from extending your time too much and causing unnecessary stress. So it is upon you. Yeah. Just know your boundaries and know the boundaries of your friends and know the boundaries of everyone who is around you. Our next point is get enough sleep. Get enough sleep. I repeat, get enough sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, it can cause a delay in reaction time in situations like driving or trying to do your job. It also causes memory problems, gain weight, and can lead to serious health problems. But not getting enough sleep can cause stress and make the stress you already have worse. Lack of sleep affects your decision-making ability, and you end up making poor decisions that increase your stress. When you don't get enough rest, it causes stress, which in turn leads to insomnia. With each feeding off the other, it can cause your stress level to increase and reach the point where it becomes difficult for you to deal with even minor problems. So this brings me to the next point. The next point is stop ignoring problems. If you want to live a good life, and if you want to deal with stress, stop ignoring problems. You may think that it is better not to deal with a problem that is causing you stress than if you do not manage it, you're protecting yourself. But what you are actually doing is making your stress worse. When a problem arises, please solve it as soon as possible. I use the word please solve it as soon as possible. If you put it off, the problem can only get worse. And if it grows, and as it grows, you will need more energy and resources to fix it. Problems don't go away until sunset just because they aren't solved. They linger, silently annoying in the back of your mind, even as you try to ignore them. The inner annoyance is working to increase your stress. Face your problems. Face them head on and free yourself from stress. My point number 7 is that lower your expectations. One of the reasons people have stress is because their expectations are out of control. They have an unrealistic expectation for other people and for themselves. And when things don't go as expected, they are not only disappointed, but also stressed. You can tell if your expectations are causing you are causing you to stress if you think your life wasn't supposed to turn out the way it has, or if you think your partner wouldn't behave the way he or she did. Expectations causes you stress because you expected something that you did not receive. You are disappointed that the image in your mind was not painted correctly in reality. Relief from stress is found in having realistic expectations for yourself and others in your life as well. So, learn to accept yourself for the person you are and others for who they are. As you consider your life, instead of feeling stressed about what hasn't worked, focus on the good that has. Okay? Stop putting pressure and stress to yourself to do more or be more. Alright? Be yourself. In short, I'm saying be yourself. And this brings me to my next point. And the next point is find a hobby you enjoy. Remember, we are dealing with ways to deal with stress. When you find something you like to do, it acts as a stress reliever because it gives you an outlet. A hobby can be a way to release the anxiety and pent-up emotions that come with dealing with stress. You can get involved in music, like finding new songs or new bands. You can see the local music scenes where you live and attend free music festivals or show for singers and bands, just starting out. There are so many ways you can do, Painting, I'm just giving a few, but there are so many hobbies in life that you can do, yeah? Painting and other creative things like drawing or coloring can be a hobby that works as an escape from stress. There is also journaling. You don't have to be a good journaling. It is simply putting words that speak of how you feel or what has happened during the day. Some people are not. Some people are into gardening. You can do vegetable and fruits or flower gardening. That's also a hobby. You can make a mix of all three. Starting to knit or crochet is a great hobby that can help you cope with stress, right? You can learn a new skill like a second language, or you can learn to play an instrument. You can participate in community theater or take acting classes. Taking regular walks to explore new places is a great way to deal with stress. So it's volunteering. You can even volunteer. Volunteering is also a hobby. By investing in someone else, you successfully manage stress, right? Our next point is that create a to-do list. Create a to-do list. You may wonder why creating a to-do list is something that can help you manage stress. The answer is simply because as stress hits, you feel like everything goes wrong. You feel like nothing is within your ability to cope. This feeling of being outside, of having control, can increase your stress level. Sometimes stress develops because people feel they have so much to do or overcome that it causes paralysis of action, which then worsens the stress. By creating a to-do list, you help the person prioritize the important things and can focus on accomplishing one thing at a time. Having a step-by-step to-do list allows you to feel in control. This works well even when you don't necessarily have a lot going on. An actual paper list can take the pressure off the checklist in your mind. Okay? Our next point is that finding a support system. And this, I guess, will be our last point. Yes, and this will be our last point. Our last point is finding a support system. One of the worst thing about stress happens when you try to keep it all inside. When your work isn't working well, your partner isn't being helpful, and the kids are regularly pushing your buttons. A way to accept the stress you're feeling is needed. If you don't let it out, the pressure of stress increases. You need to have someone to talk to about what is going on. This person may not be able to do anything to change your situation, but just by being there to listen You feel yourself from the build up. You know, you're feeling. Okay, talking about what is happening with you and what is causing the stress makes you feel a lot better than if the situation is still there. You know, your support may be a trusted friend. It doesn't have to be a specific one, but a trusted friend, a relative, or maybe a romantic partner, or a trained counselor. Yeah, sharing how you feel relieves emotional toll such as anxiety and depression, which are often related to stress. And there is another one I have remembered, and I think this will be of great help in this situation. Is create a strategy. Create a strategy. Every part of the stress in your life can be traced back to a trigger. It causes an effect. Something happens, and there is a mental, emotional, or physical reaction. There are consequences or changes that lead to stress. For example, maybe your boss gives you a better position. You earn more money. Now you are stressed, not because you got the position you wanted, but because there are more responsibilities coming up. It could be more time away from home. You may feel worried about not keeping up. What you have to do when stress hits is to crawl back to get the roots of your stress. When you find it, you can create a strategy to distress. Okay? If you take the new position at work, have a plan for getting more help at home or hiring outside help. If you're concerned about not knowing enough about the new position, ask for help. You know, such as more training while taking a course. Your strategy could make you proactive and show you what to do to help you deal with your stress. And the next important one, sorry, I think I'll have to mention this, is that let it go. This is our last point. Let it go. You have to get to the place where you realize that no matter how hard you try, there are always things you just can't figure it out. If you're wasting time worrying and trying to find a solution for what cannot be fixed, you're only creating stress. You can't fix a coworker who is lazy or an idiot. You can't force a loved one not to break up with you. You can't order all the events of your life to be as you wish. You have no control over things that are beyond your ability to change. All right? What you have to do is accept what you can't change and make peace with it. When you waste energy trying to force things that are beyond your reach to happen, you end up being frustrated and stressed. All right? So accepting that you are powerless to change everything that affects you is difficult to do, but necessary to deal with stress. It's necessary to deal with stress. It does not mean that you are weak. It means that you are strong enough to move on with your life instead of getting stuck. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and that brings us to the end of our topic today. That brings us to the end of our video today. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment on ways that you think are the best ways to deal with stress, and also remember to give me a thumbs up, and let's meet in the next video. Thank you for watching.